Kun-Lai Summit stands as one of the coldest regions in all of Pandaria. While the southern areas are vibrant and warm with a dry autumn-like air, the northern lands are starkly barren, blanketed in snow. This dramatic climate difference is due to Kun-Lai's towering mountains, reputably the highest in all of Azeroth. The only accessible entry not blocked by the formidable Serpents Spine is through the Hidden Pass. The Burlap Trail, a crucial trade route managed by the industrious Grummels, threads through Kun-Lai. However, this trail is frequently threatened by Yongle warmongers. Driven from the town-long steppes by the relentless Mantid, these fierce warriors are desperately seeking new territories to call home. Scattered throughout the mountains are ancient Mogu ruins and crypts, now being explored by the Mogu themselves, and newly arrived Zandalari trolls, eager to uncover the secrets hidden within. Amidst this turmoil, the Pandaren maintain two major strongholds in the region, the Temple of the White Tiger and the Shadowpan Monastery. The latter, however, is under threat from the rampaging Shah, entities unleashed by the surge of negative emotions from the ongoing conflict between the Alliance and the Horde. On the northern shores, local villagers face danger from the Zandalari, who have established a base on a small island and along the coastal ruins. Now let's talk about the history of Kun-Lai Summit. It is a majestic land sculpted by the hands of titans, initially took form under the craftsmanship of Mogu before they fell to the curse of flesh. The region soon became a battlefield, as various Mogu clans vied for control. During the chaos, diverse inhabitants of Pandaria, including the agile mountain Hosen, the wise Jinyu, and the diligent early Pandaren farmers began to call Kun-Lai their home. Overseeing this diverse and vibrant land was Yinying, the revered White Tiger. He vowed to shield the inhabitants of Kun-Lai from external threats. However, tranquility was shattered when Lei Shen, the formidable Thunder King, and his Mogu legions advanced upon the land. Lei Shen offered a dire proposition. If a single challenger could defeat him, Kun-Lai would remain free. Failure, however, meant submission to his rule. Yinying, embodying the spirit of his people, stepped forward to accept the challenge. For 30 days and nights, a fierce battle ensued between the mighty White Tiger and the relentless Thunder King. Despite Yinying's valiant efforts, Lei Shen emerged victorious. The once free lands of Kun-Lai Summit fell under his dominion, their spirits subdued. In the aftermath, Yinying was bound atop Mount Neverest, forced to witness the ascendancy of the Mogu Empire and the subjugation of his beloved land. The Pandaren sage, Kang, perceived the Mogu Empire's reliance on slave labor as a fundamental weakness. Determined to counter their tyranny, he mastered the art of weaponless combat, transforming his opponent's strength into their downfall. Kang shared this knowledge with many, cultivating a group of adept followers. Together, they fled to the secluded heights of Kun-Lai, where they refined their techniques and philosophies away from prying eyes. One fateful day, Kang ascended Mount Neverest, seeking solitude for meditation. Instead, he encountered Yinying. Despite years of isolation, Yinying remained neither embittered nor wrathful. Rather, he was filled with a fervent desire to aid. He imparted to Kang and his nascent monks the essence of true strength, not just the brute force of power, but the resilience of endurance. He encouraged them to draw strength from the land itself. Observing the scattered, solitary trees clinging to the Kun-Lai ridgelines, Kang found inspiration. These trees, twisted and gnarled, had adapted to survive biting winds and relentless sleet. Their trunks were robust, their roots deep and tenacious. It was from these enduring trees that the monks constructed their monasteries' walls and fashioned their first weapons. Not sharp blades like their enemies wielded, but sturdy staves. Kang presented his staff to Yinying, who blessed it with his enduring spirit. In honor of his son who had fallen victim to Mogu cruelty, Kang named the staff Shay-Lun. This weapon symbolized their collective resilience and the hope that one day they would break free from oppression and restore peace to their land. After the Pandaren Revolution and the fierce Zandalari Troll Wars, Kun-Lai Summit emerged as a free state under the governance of the Pandaren Empire, which ruled from their capital in the Jade Forest. Yinying cautioned the monks of their newfound freedom. He reminded them that with liberation came the grave responsibility of safeguarding Pandaria from malevolent forces. Among these threats were the Mantid, formidable insectoid creatures that swarmed across the land every century. The only barrier against their devastating onslaught was the Serpents Spine, a colossal wall standing as Pandaria's last line of defense. In Kun-Lai, The monks devoted themselves to preparing for this recurring menace. For generations, they trained rigorously, honing their skills and fortifying their spirits. Every 100 years, when the mantid swarms descended, the courageous Pandaren monks ascended the Serpents Spine. There, they faced relentless waves of mantid, risking their lives in fierce battles to protect their homeland. The monks' valor and sacrifice became legendary, a testament to their unwavering dedication to preserve the peace and safety of Pandaria. For 10,000 years, Pandaria basked in tranquility, until the arrival of outsiders shattered its peace. The ongoing war between the Horde and the Alliance brought with a surge of negative emotions, awakening the malevolent Shah. This turmoil exacerbated an already dire situation. To the east, the Mantid forced the Yongle from their homes in Town Long Steps, driving them to breach the Serpents Spine and invade Kun-Lai. The Yongle invasion wrought havoc on the Pandaren farmlands, leaving them ravaged and occupied. This chaos further fueled the Shah, intensifying their power. The Shadowpan Monastery, a bastion of peace and discipline, found itself under siege from within by the Shah of Hatred. Simultaneously, the Shah of Anger surged in the south, its strength amplified by the heightened negative emotions swirling around the land. Once a serene haven, Pandaria now faced multifaceted threats, both external and internal. The Pandaren, caught in the crossfire of clashing armies and rising darkness, struggled to protect their sacred lands and restore the fragile peace that had endured for millennia. In the north, the coastal Zouchin Province of Kun-Lai enjoyed several years of tranquility. This peace was abruptly shattered by the arrival of a formidable Zandalari army, led by Prophet Karzul and Garajal the Spirit Binder. They launched a brutal assault on the Pandaren villages, resulting in a devastating massacre of the province's inhabitants. The situation grew even more dire as the Zandalari rekindled their ancient alliance with the Mogu, who resided in the mountains above the Zouchin Province. The Mogu began to animate terracotta and stone warriors, bolstering their growing army with the intention of reclaiming Pandaria. The Zandalari also seized the body of Lei Shen, the fallen first emperor, with plans to resurrect him. Transporting Lei Shen's body to the Isle of Reckoning, Prophet Karzul successfully revived the Thunder King. Emboldened by this dark resurrection, the Zandalari and their Mogu allies launched a full-scale assault on Zouchin Village. In a desperate struggle, the Pandaren villagers, aided by the Horde and Alliance, managed to achieve a costly victory against the invaders. Despite this fleeting triumph, most of the Mogu and Zandalari retreated with the resurrected Lei Shen to his island citadel. There, they are consolidating their forces into a single formidable army under Lei Shen's command, poised to conquer Pandaria and restore the Thunder King's dominion. Nestled between Eastwind and Westwind Rest and the Yongle advance of south-central Kun-Lai Summit, Mogujia is a place teeming with ancient activity. Here, the mysterious Mogujia Soulcaller is busy animating terracotta warriors and guardians, breathing life into these stone sentinels of old. Meanwhile, Bao Jian, a resourceful relic hunter, seeks adventures to acquire valuable antiquities for his clandestine trade. After amassing a trove of these ancient treasures, Bao Jian intends to delve even deeper into Mogujia's secrets, eager to uncover and claim more relics hidden within its storied ruins. Mogujia, roughly translating to home of the Mogu, although it was not their only home. According to Bao Jian's research, this area was originally known as Chao Keep. The story goes that Mogu of Mogujia weren't always terracotta warriors, they were once living beings, entombed alive with their lord after his death in a glorious battle. In more recent times, the ruins attracted the Horde's reliquary, eager to unearth its secrets. However, their excavation efforts were thwarted by the Karun Mogu. Not to be outdone, the Alliance's Explorers League also launched an expedition to Mogujia, leading to clashes not only with the Karun Mogu but also with the Horde's Blood Elves. This turbulent history has left Mogujia a contested and mysterious site, rich with relics and rife with conflict. 2,000 years after Kang had found Zhuan atop the mountain, as the War of the Ancients loomed and the Great Sundering approached, the newly crowned Emperor Xiaohao ascended Mount Neverest. He sought counsel from Yulan, the Jade Serpent, on how to defend his kingdom against the impending invasion of the Burning Legion. Yulan manifested before him, her presence serene and wise. She advised Xiaohao to seek the heart of Pandaria, where he would find the answers he needed. She also urged him to rid himself of his negative burdens. With this cryptic guidance, Yulon vanished, leaving Xiahou to embark on a profound journey across Pandaria, searching for wisdom and purification to save his realm. A tale often recounted as true describes how the last emperor of the Mogu Empire once climbed with a Pandaren servant to the Peak of Serenity to survey the expanse of Pandaria. Gazing over the land, the emperor expressed a desire to bring happiness to all its inhabitants. The Pandaren servant, with a touch of boldness, replied, "Then you'll jump, won't you?" The story does not reveal the servant's fate, but it is said that the emperor, deeply affected by the exchange, declared that part of the mountain tainted. From that moment on, he forbade any Mogu from ever setting foot on the Peak of Serenity again. Soon after Kang began imparting his monk teachings to fellow Pandaren slaves, he and his fellow followers moved to the secluded Kun-Lai Summit. There, hidden among the wind-lashed peaks, they constructed a secret monastery to further their training. It was at the Peak of Serenity that the first monks honed their skills in secrecy, laying the groundwork for their plan to overthrow the oppressive Mogu regime. During the third invasion of the Burning Legion, the monastery faced destruction at the hands of the demon army led by Lady Kael'Tress, an Eridar whose personal vendetta targeted the monks of Azeroth. Viewing their pursuit of balance and order as direct challenge to the Burning Legion's chaos, she unleashed her forces upon them. The surviving monks, resilient and determined, relocated to their sanctuary, Shenzhen Zhu, also known as the Wandering Isle, where they continued their quest for harmony and peace. As Lei Shen, the first emperor of the Mogu, embarked on his mission to unify his people and dominate the other races of Pandaria, he recognized that the Mantid would never submit to his rule. To protect his empire, he commanded his slaves to construct the Serpents Spine, a magnificent wall spanning the length of his realm. Though it took many generations to complete, Lei Shen relied on fear to drive his subjects. Despite the wall's construction being delayed for decades due to the relentless massacres of Kairaz the Locust, the looming threat of the Mantid galvanized the empire. The fear moved mountains, raised armies, secured Lei Shen's dominion, and ultimately saw the Serpent Spine to completion. Warlord Girthin oversaw the Mogu defenses along the Serpent Spine, while Nisus of Sarok stood among its defenders, ensuring the wall remained a formidable barrier against the Mantid menace. In the dark reign of Emperor Lao Fei, cruelty knew no bounds within the Mogu Empire. Among his favored punishments for Pandaren slaves was the cruel act of tearing families apart. Displeased slaves faced the heart-wrenching fate of having their children sent to the treacherous Serpent's Spine, where they were doomed to become fodder for the merciless Mantid swarms. One such victim of Lao Fei's tyranny was Kang, a Pandaren brewmaster whose life was shattered by the Emperor's wrath. Sentenced to this grim fate, Kang's son Shay Lun was torn from him and sent to the Serpent's Spine. In a desperate attempt to intervene, Shay Lun's mother perished, her sacrifice sealing the family's tragic fate. This harrowing event marked the genesis of the Pandaren monks' rise and ignited the flame of rebellion that would culminate in the Pandaren Revolution. In the face of unspeakable cruelty, the Pandaren found strength in unity and resolve, determined to overthrow the oppressors and reclaim their freedom. In the aftermath of the rebellion, Zhiwen the White Tiger delivered a solemn warning to the fledgling Pandaren monks. Though they had gained their freedom, they now bore the weighty responsibility of safeguarding Pandaria from those who sought to enslave it once more. Every century, like clockwork, the Mantid would descend upon the land in a relentless swarm, threatening to overrun everything in their path. Against this relentless tide, only the courageous monks who dared to stand atop the formidable Serpent's Spine stood as Pandaria's last line of defense. In Kun-Lai, these monks dedicated themselves to relentless training and preparation for the inevitable onslaught. And when the time came, every century without fail, they ascended the spine of the land to confront the monstrous Mantid, risking their lives to protect their cherished homeland. In this solemn tradition, one Mistweaver was always entrusted with the sacred staff of Kang, named Shay Lun, a symbol of hope and resilience passed down through generations. Though many brave souls perished in the line of duty, their sacrifices were not in vain. For as long as the wall stood, Pandaria endured, a testament to the unwavering courage and selflessness of those who stood guard atop the Serpent's Spine. Years after the rebellion, the tranquility of Pandaria was shattered by the invasion of the Zandalari trolls, who seized control of Kun-Lai and the Jade Forest. With the Pandaren Empire's military might waning, it fell upon a dedicated order of monks to safeguard their homeland, Charged by the Pandaren Emperor himself, these monks patrolled the formidable Serpents Spine, prepared to confront any threat, including the dreaded Mantid Swarm. When the Zandalari onslaught began, the monks swiftly mobilized, racing from the Serpents Spine to repel the invaders. However, they soon realized they were facing a formidable adversary. Outnumbered and outmaneuvered by the Zandalari's agile terror wings and bats, the monks fought valiantly but struggled to stem the tide of the troll invasion. In the years that followed, as Pandaria sought to rebuild and fortify its defenses, the mantle of protecting the realm and the Serpent's Wall passed to a new order, the Shadowpan. With their unwavering resolve and martial prowess, the Shadowpan stood as the last bastion against any who dared threaten the peace of Pandaria. In the idyllic expanse of the Valley of the Four Winds, the once impenetrable wall faltered as the Mantid launched a daring breach. Yet in a surprising turn of events, the arrival of both Horde and Alliance forces provided a glimmer of hope, as they joined forces with the Pandaren to repel the insectoid invaders. However, recent days have brought renewed chaos to the region. The Mantid, in a relentless bid to overrun the lands beyond the wall, have intensified their assault, targeting strategic points along its border. Their relentless attacks have inflicted considerable damage, particularly at Stoneplow, where the peaceful tranquility has been shattered by the horrors of war. Meanwhile, the Yongle, emboldened by the Mantid's advance, have breached the Oxgate and began to establish a foothold in the unforgiving terrain of Kun-Lai Summit. In the neighboring Taolong Steppes, the emergence of the Dusklight Bridge has emboldened the Mantid, granting them swift access to strategic locations while bypassing traditional barriers. With the widening deep no longer a hindrance, the insectoid menace spreads its wings, casting a shadow of uncertainty over the once peaceful lands of Pandaria. Amidst the tumultuous Alliance-Horde conflict that engulfed Pandaria, the serene halls of the Temple of the White Tiger welcomed a procession of notable figures. Prince Anduin Rin, bearing the weight of diplomacy upon his young shoulders, sought an audience with Zhuan. He requested that the White Tiger grant both factions passage into the sacred Vale of Eternal Blossoms. Yet before granting such a monumental boon, Zhuan subjected the visitors to a trial of character, demanding they prove their mettle and worthiness. In the wake of these diplomatic overtures, the temple became a crucible of martial prowess. Here, the warriors of the Alliance and Horde converged to participate in grueling trials of combat, facing off against formidable adversaries hailing from every corner of Pandaria. It was a spectacle that drew spectators from far and wide, eager to witness the clash of champions in the sacred arena. Among the temple's honored guests was Wrathion, the enigmatic Black Prince, who sought the blessing of Zhuan. His motives veiled in secrecy, Wrathion's presence added an air of intrigue to the temple's serene surroundings, hinting at deeper plans to play amidst the chaos of war. Within the temple's tranquil sanctum, the Monkey King made a triumphant return, drawn by whispers of a worthy challenger from the ranks of the Alliance. Eager to test their mettle, he engaged in a spirited duel, a clash of steel echoing through the hollowed halls as both combatants sought to prove their strength. As the siege of Orgrimmar raged beyond Pandaria's borders, the fabric of time itself seemed to ripple within the temple's serene confines. Karaz Dormuth, the time-twisting dragon, uncovered the subtle convergence of timeways hidden amidst the temple's ancient grounds. His discovery hinted at the temple's pivotal role as a nexus of temporal energies, a revelation with far-reaching implications for the unfolding events of the siege. Surrounded by the temple's peaceful serenity, a brief interlude unfolded as Shin Whispercloud, a humble fishmonger, embarked on a delivery from the Angler's Wharf in the distant Krasarang Wilds. Accompanied by the spirited Lili Stormstout, the duo briefly graced the temple's threshold before continuing on their journey. Following the events of the Siege of Orgrimmar, the solemn halls of the temple bore witness to a trial of unprecedented magnitude. Gathered within its sacred confines were representatives from the Alliance, Horde, August Celestials, and the Vigilant Shadowpan, all convened to judge the fate of Garrosh Hellscream, the fallen war chief. Garrosh, once the epitome of orcish might, now stood as a captive within the temple's confines, his destiny hanging in the balance as the trial unfolded. To ensure a semblance of impartiality, strict protocols were enforced. No weapons were permitted within the temple's walls. Designated pavilions housed the representatives of both factions, and the temple's monks and merchants were respectfully asked to refrain from traversing its grounds during the trial's proceedings. Chaos loomed on the horizon as the trial reached its crescendo. Garrosh's loyalists, led by the indomitable Zayla, launched a brazen assault on the temple, intent on creating a diversion that would enable the enigmatic Kairos to whisk Garrosh away to an alternate Draenor. In a whirlwind of treachery and defiance, the tranquility of the temple was shattered, leaving a lingering sense of uncertainty in its wake. A new chapter unfolded within the sacred halls of the temple when the esteemed Farseer of the Earthen Ring, accompanied by the venerable Rhaegar Earthfury, sought audience with Zhuan. Their quest was to unravel the mysteries surrounding the legendary Fist of Ra-Den, a potent relic steeped in elemental power. Eager to test the worthiness of those who sought to claim the storm-forged weapons, Zhuan devised a series of formidable challenges. Among the valiant challengers were Sigurd the Giant Slayer, renowned for his prowess in battle, and the spirited duo of Chen Stormstout and his niece Lili. As trials unfolded and adversaries were vanquished, the Farseer emerged triumphant, grasping the coveted Fist of Ra-Den. Yet as the relic's elemental energy surged, the very foundations of the temple trembled, sending cascades of boulders raining down upon its ancient halls. Yet as the relic's elemental energy surged, the very foundations of the temple trembled, sending cascades of boulders raining down upon its ancient walls. However, before the Farseer could fully attune to the storm-wrought artifacts, the tranquility was shattered by the arrival of the Legion forces led by sinister Lord Kravos. In a flurry of chaos and combat, Rhaegar, Lili, and Shen found themselves ensnared by the Inquisitor's malevolent grasp. Undeterred, the shaman hero rose to the challenge, bravely confronting the demonic invaders and securing victory. As Zhuan extended his congratulations to the triumphant heroes, a sense of solemn ceremony descended upon the temple, as spectators and honor guards bore witness to the unfolding events. With their mission accomplished, Rhaegar and the hero departed, guided by the ethereal embrace of an astral gate, their journey leading them onwards to the fabled Maelstrom. Nestled amidst the rugged expanse of the Kun-Lai Summit lies the Valley of Emperors, a hallowed ground steeped in the echoes of ancient majesty. Here, beneath the towering peaks and swirling mists, lie the final resting places of several Mogu emperors, their storied legacies interwoven with the fabric of time. Access to this sacred valley is granted by two divergent paths. From the west, travelers embark on an unnamed mountain trail, winding its way from one keg to the lofty perch of Neverest Base Camp. Alternatively, from the east, the winding course of the Howling Wind Trail leads adventurers on a journey above the depths of Howling Wind Cavern, unveiling the valley's mysteries from a different vantage point. Yet the tranquility of this revered site has been marred by the intrusion of Mogu and Zandalaria alike, their nefarious scheme seeking to resurrect the Thunder King from his timeless slumber. As whispers of ancient power echo through the valley's depths, dark forces converge in a bid to reshape the course of history. At the valley's lower reaches, a series of crypts lay shrouded in mystery and shadow, each bearing witness to the grandeur and tyranny of emperors past. Among them stand the solemn monuments of the Tomb of Shadows, the Tomb of Secrets, the Tomb of Conquerors, the Shrine of the Merciless One, and the revered Emperor Rictic's Rest, each a testament to the enduring legacy of those who once ruled these lands with an iron fist. Nestled in the tranquil embrace of the southern foothills, Yinying Village flourishes a humble Pandaren enclave, its serene existence cast in the shadow of the revered Temple of the White Tiger. Yet beneath its placid facade, tension simmered, waiting to erupt like a dormant volcano. After Zhuan denied their leader Sho'nuff training at the temple, the seeds of resentment took root, blossoming into a vengeful rage. In a calculated act of retribution, Sho'nuff summoned his ruthless Yangtze raiders from the nearby fire camp Yangtze, their fiery zeal matched only by their insatiable thirst for destruction. With torches aglow and hearts hardened, the Yangtze raiders descended upon Yinying Village, like a tempest unleashed. Their savage cries piercing the tranquility of the night as flames engulfed homes and hearts alike. In the blink of an eye, the once thriving settlement was reduced to smoldering ruins, its legacy forever tainted by the specter of betrayal and revenge. Nestled in the northeastern reaches of the majestic Kun-Lai Summit lies the serene expanse of Zouchin Province, a land where the earth meets the sea in a harmonious embrace. Here, amidst the tranquil beauty of nature's bounty, the Pandaren of Zouchin Village and Zouchin Strand have long called this province their home, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of the land. Yet amidst the beauty, a shadow looms on the horizon. From beyond the shrouded mists, two distinct threats emerge, casting a pall over the once peaceful province. The notorious Black Mane mercenaries, driven by greed and ambition, descend upon Zouchin Strand like a relentless storm. Their blades thirsty for blood as they lay waste to all in their path. Meanwhile, the ominous specter of the Zandalari looms on the horizon, their presence signaling impending doom as they besiege the unsuspecting village with ruthless efficiency. Within the ancient echoes of Mogu ruins, the Zandalari have staked their claim, establishing the formidable Zandalari vanguard as a bastion of power and intrigue in the heart of Zouchin Province. From this strategic foothold, they orchestrate their plans, their gaze fixed upon the Isle of Reckoning that looms ominously in the distant northeast. In a cruel twist of fate, the tranquility of the province was shattered by the thunderous drums of war, as the ominous shadow of the impending invasion on the Isle of Thunder looms ever closer. The Pandaren inhabitants of Zouchin Province found themselves forcibly escorted from their ancestral lands, their homes and livelihoods left vulnerable to the whims of fate. In the commotion of conflict, amidst the clash of steel and the roar of battle, the Zandalari trolls descended upon the province like a relentless tempest, their onslaught overwhelming all in its path. Even amidst the chaos of war, whispers abound of Chen Stormstout's audacious ambition, as he sought to establish a brewery during the conflict, a testament to the Pandaren spirit of resilience in the face of adversity. As the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded into the ether, the fate of Zouchin Province remained shrouded in uncertainty. Whether reclaimed by the indomitable spirit of the Pandaren, abandoned to the ravages of war, or still firmly gripped in the clutches of the Zandalari, only time would unveil the truth hidden amidst the whispers of the wind. Now let's talk about Zouchin Village, which is nestled at sea level in the northeastern expanse of the region. The peace of this idyllic village is shattered at the Zandalari launch a fierce siege, a calculated diversion to mask their true intentions on the distant Isle of Reckoning. With unwavering courage, the villagers, alongside valiant adventurers from both the Alliance and the Horde, rise to defend their home. Amidst the chaos of battle, their combined efforts repel the relentless assault, securing the village against the tide of invaders. In the aftermath, Zouchin Village stands resilient, a testament to the strength and unity of its defenders, who safeguarded their home from the shadows of impending doom. Months after the initial repulsion of the Zandalari invaders, the trolls returned with renewed vigor, compelling the villagers to evacuate. Zouchin Village was transformed into a bustling land site for Zandalari ships for ferrying between the Isle of Thunder and Pandaria. As the war between the Alliance and Horde erupted in Pandaria, the Shado-Pan sought to bolster their ranks by recruiting young members, including a promising initiate named Ten, to impart their ancient ways and disciplines. Chen Stormstout brought a grievously wounded Vol'jin and Tirathane Court to the monastery for healing and training. Their respite, however, was short-lived as the Zandalari trolls and their Mogu allies, led by the fearsome Kalak, launched a brutal invasion. During these turbulent times, members of the Alliance arrived at the monastery in search of the legendary Divine Bell, hoping to harness its power for their cause. Years later, during the third invasion of the Burning Legion, a tragic accident occurred. Fei Li, a young Shadowpan member, inadvertently set the monastery ablaze. This incident seemingly led to her falling from favor in the eyes of the revered Taran Zhu, casting a shadow over her once promising future. But who resides within the monastery? Let's talk about the bosses within the instance. Before the Shah were released, Gu Cloudstrike was known for his gentle demeanor and dedication to training the elite Shadowpan spellcasters. However, the once revered Pandaren has since embraced the throw of wielding his immense powers, often with catastrophic results. Now, Cloudstrike commands the mystical Azure Serpent, and his lethal attacks leave his former students powerless and in awe of his newfound ferocity. Master Snowdrift is acutely aware that the relentless conflicts between the Horde and the Alliance have left the monastery in a precarious state. To earn the allegiance of this vigilant Pandaren, heroes must first overcome the challenge of his students. Only those who succeed will face Snowdrift himself, a martial arts paragon who has devoted his life to achieving the pinnacle of physical and mental perfection. Now we move on to the Shah of Violence. 10,000 years ago, Emperor Xiaohao, having cast off his doubt, despair, and fear, ventured into Kun-Lai Summit to rally the Shadowpan against the impending threat of the Burning Legion. Zhi Wen, sensing a lingering darkness within the Emperor, set a challenge. Xiao must strike one of Jiwen's warriors to prove his worthiness to lead the army. Frustration mounted as Xiao repeatedly failed to land a blow, and in his fury, the Sha of anger erupted from him, swiftly followed by the Sha of violence and hatred. The three malevolent entities surged towards Xiao, but in a moment of selfless bravery, a Shadowpan warrior intervened, sacrificing their life to protect the Emperor. This profound act of sacrifice imparted to Xiao a crucial lesson in fellowship, love, and peace. Taran Zhu first appears at the outset of the Jade Forest questline, cautioning both the Alliance and the Horde about the perilous Sha. Following the defeat of Gatril or Doran, depending on whether you're Alliance or Horde, when Brel, Nightwind, or Nazgrim are unexpectedly confronted by the Sha, Taran explains the concept of the Sha as manifestations of negative emotions like doubt and hatred. He sternly advised them to avoid bringing their conflict Pandaria ashore before departing. Upon the adventurer's arrival to Podon Village or Honeydew Village, Taran finds himself powerless as Sun-Kei Kang, or Mayor Honeydew, warmly welcomes both factions. Resigned, he leaves it up to the villagers to determine their course of action. In the Kun-Lai Summit storyline, Taran Zhu is seen at the Temple of the White Tiger, cautioning Jiwen against allowing the wanderers from beyond the mists to enter the Vale. Despite Taran's warnings, Jiwen decides to grant them access, prompting Taran to leave, declaring it a grave mistake. The Shadowpan soon become alarmed by the lack of reinforcements in their battle zones and discover that Taran has been possessed by the Sha of Hatred. After being cleansed of the Sha's influence, Taran leads a search for the Sha of Hatred in Townlong Steppes. With the aid of Shadowpan warriors and adventurers, he ultimately succeeds in vanquishing the Sha. However, Taran remains burdened with shame for allowing his emotions to overwhelm him in Kun-Lai, which enabled the Sha's escape. His story continues in the book Shadows of the Horde. Despite his wariness of the Alliance-Horde conflict, Taran Zhu permitted Chen Stormstout to bring both Tirathan Court, a human hunter who befriended Vol'jin on his adventure to Pandaria, and Vol'jin to the Shadowpan Monastery for healing. However, he sternly told Chen that no more soldiers from either faction would be allowed, to maintain the temple's balance. To observe the dynamics between the two factions, Taran placed Vol'jin in Court's care, suspecting that their interactions would reveal the true nature of their relationship without external bias. While at the monastery, Vol'jin was allowed to undergo monk training. Taran offered guidance as both Vol'jin and Court wrestled with their identities, subtly evaluating their actions and camaraderie. Through this period, Taran's keen observations helped shape his understanding of the complex relationship between the Horde and Alliance. After Vol'jin received a vision of the Zandalari attacking Zouchin Village, Taran Zhu promptly dispatched a contingent of Shadowpan monks to assist in its defense. Recognizing the looming threat, Taran later asked a small force including Vol'jin, Tirathan Court, and Chen Stormstout with infiltrating the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. Their mission was to prevent the Zandalari from resurrecting Warlord Kao, a formidable general of the Thunder King. Despite their efforts, Vol'jin and his companions failed to stop the resurrection. Warlord Kao was brought back to life, and the surviving members of the team were captured and taken to the Isle of Thunder. However, demonstrating remarkable resilience and resourcefulness, Vol'jin and his allies eventually escaped their imprisonment and made their way back to the Shadowpan Monastery. Their harrowing journey only strengthened their resolve to protect Pandaria from its enemies. Anticipating an assault by the Zandalari, Taran Zhu rallied all available forces to defend the Shadowpan Monastery. The defenders comprised just 29 monks, bolstered by Zhu himself and his 3 non-Shadowpan guests, Vol'jin, Chen Stormstout, and Tirathan Court. Despite their small numbers, the 33 prepared an array of traps and showcased their exceptional combat skills within the Temple of the White Tiger. They managed to repel the attackers, but the battle was costly, resulting in significant casualties. As the surviving Zandalari forces faltered, unnerved by Vol'jin's fierce resistance, Taran Zhu issued an ultimatum. He commanded the Zandalari to withdraw, granting them permission to take their wounded as they retreated from the monastery grounds. The valor and tenacity of the 33 had safeguarded the temple, demonstrating the indomitable spirit of the Shadowpan. Following Shadows of the Horde, Taran Zhu is first seen in the cave just outside the Throne of Thunder, accompanied by Taoshi, Yalia Sage Whisper, Laoshin the Iron Belly, and Hawkmaster Nurang. He tasks adventurers with dealing with the Thunder King's champions and closely monitors Lorthamar Taran and Jaina Proudmoore as they prepare to assault the gate to the Throne of Thunder. When Lei Shen's powerful Mogu minion Shan Bu attempts to resurrect the gatekeeper Nalok the Stormlord, Taran and the Shadowpan launch a raid on the outer courtyard to thwart his plans. Battling through Shan Bu's Mogu and Zandalari forces, Taran boldly challenges Shan Bu to a duel. As the fight wears on, Shan Bu, in a desperate move, grabs him by the throat, attempting to strangle him. Before he can deliver the fatal blow, an adventurer strikes him down, saving Taran. Despite his grave injuries, Taran intervenes to prevent Lorthamar and Jaina from clashing, demanding that they break the cycle of violence between their factions. His words eventually persuade the two leaders to lower their weapons and leave peacefully. With the immediate threat averted, Yalia Sage Whisper ensures Taran is taken to safety, his bravery and wisdom having averted further bloodshed. Under War Chief Hellscream's orders, a Horde activation force ravaged sacred ground in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, seeking powerful artifacts to further Garrosh's ambitions. In retaliation, Taran Zu confronted Dezko at the Shrine of Two Moons, demanding that the Horde vacate the Vale immediately or face lethal consequences. Dezko managed to temper Zu's fury, explaining that the perpetrator of this desecration no longer represented the Horde, and that many within its ranks were rising against him. He vowed to bring Garrosh to justice and asked for time to accomplish this. Having dealt with tyrants before, Zu warily granted Dezko the opportunity to rectify the situation, giving the Dawn Chaser chieftain until the end of the season to fulfill his promise. After Garrosh Hellscream unearthed the heart of Yasharaj in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, Taran Zu confronted him, determined to stop the corruption. Despite Zu's valiant efforts, he was overpowered and wounded by Garrosh's axe, Gorehowl. As Zu lay injured, Garrosh reveled in showing him the Vale transforming into a Shaw-infested wasteland. Lorewalker Cho and a group of adventurers later discovered the gravely injured Zu in the chamber of the Shaw of Pride beneath the Vale. Zu, filled with bitterness, blamed both the Horde and the Alliance for Pandaria's destruction. He left the chamber with Cho, leaving the adventurers to face the Shaw of Pride. Following Hellscream's eventual defeat, Zu intervened in a heated argument between Thrall and Varian, who were debating Garrosh's fate. Zu emphasized that Garrosh's crimes had affected countless lives, especially those of the Pandaren. He asserted the need for justice and arrested Garrosh, ensuring he would stand trial in Pandaria. When the Burning Legion assaulted the Peak of Serenity, Taran Zu was at the forefront of the defense. Subsequently, the Legion launched an attack on the Terrace of Endless Spring. Taran led a valiant patrol to protect it, but sustained injuries in the battle. A Mistweaver monk in pursuit of the legendary Shaylun Staff of the Mists arrives at the terrace and healed Taran. Grateful, the Shadowpan leader joined the monk in rescuing the patrol and securing the staff. However, Taran Zu's patience with Fei Li had worn thin by this time, due to an incident where she accidentally set fire to the Shadowpan Monastery. Following these events, Taran Zu participated in the defense against the Legion's attack on the Tien Monastery in the Jade Forest, led by the Fellscorn Skola Greatsword, teaming up once more with the Grand Master. He tasked them with eliminating demons, destroying fell spikes and tainted ale barrels, and extinguishing fell fires. Once these objectives were achieved, Taran Zu and the Monkey King launched an assault on Skola in the Clarion Bell, ultimately killing him. Taran then regrouped with the High Elder Cloudfall and the remaining survivors. Later, Taran Zu allied with the Order of the Broken Temple and became one of their champions. He can now be found at the Temple of the Five Dawns in the Wandering Isle, lending his strength and wisdom to the cause. During the assault in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, Magni Bronzebeard and an adventurer set out to find the engine of Nalak Shah. Upon reaching the entrance of the vaults in Kun-Lai, they were met with a grim sight, corpses of Mogu and Mantid littering the area, and the door sealed with impenetrable amber. One Mogu warrior, barely clinging to life, informed them that the Mantid had taken control of the vaults. A squad of deep hive Mantids soon arrived, finishing off the wounded Mogu, only to be slain themselves in the ensuing skirmish. Seeking answers in the origin of the warrior's sigil, the speaker of Azeroth Magni consulted Lorewalker Cho. Delving into ancient texts, Cho discovered that the fallen Mogu warrior belonged to the Rajani. Armed with this knowledge, Magni and the adventurer sought out the Rajani and encountered Ra-Den. After convincing Ra-Den, he directed Magni and the adventurer to Mogu'Shan Palace, showing them a secret tunnel leading to the vaults. Navigating the long passage, they finally emerged to find the vaults overrun not only by mantid but also infested with void tentacles, eyes, and maws. Horrified by the sight, Magni instructed the Avenger to cleanse N'Zoth's corruption. Once the repository was cleared of its dark taint, the duo proceeded towards the engine. They battled through the remaining Deep Hive Mantid and N'Zoth's fiends, including formidable foes like Swarmguard Kazaz and Yogg-Sothoth. After vanquishing these enemies, they successfully linked the engine to the Chamber of Heart, using its power to bolster the Forge of Origination. Following this victory, Ra tasked Stormspeaker Qi'an with rallying the Rajani to defend the engine, ensuring its continued protection. The first line of defense for those daring enough to venture into the vault is an unyielding row of enchanted bestial statues. As hard as granite and tireless in their watch, the sentinels of the Stone Guard form an impenetrable barrier of flame, fangs, and claws. Next, we move on to Fang the Accursed. Long ago, Fang Shui served as a diligent caretaker of the Mogu'Shan Vaults, entrusted with safeguarding the treasures within its shadowy halls. Despite years of loyal service, he was accused of theft. Some say unfairly framed by a jealous subordinate. As punishment, the Mogu ruler cast a fatal curse upon him. Since then, the doomed spirit of Fang Shui has roamed the vaults, communing with the shadows of ancient Mogu heroes and warlords. Garajal, the formidable leader of the Zandalari Trolls' assault on the Mogu'Shan Vaults, is relentless in his quest to unlock its ancient mysteries. Driven by a thirst for arcane power and knowledge, he employs his dark talents and commands a loyal group of Zandalari mystics. Having already breached the outer walls, Garajal remains steadfast in his mission, vowing to claim the vaults and their secrets for his own. Following Garajal, we have the Spirit Kings. Ancient records recount the tales of legendary rulers, powerful Mogu who carved an empire from the very stone of Pandaria. Their names still echo through history, causing the land to shudder. Xian of the Endless Shadow, Mang the Demented, Qiang the Merciless, and Sebatai the Swift. It is whispered that the spirits linger in the vaults, lost in the ghostly reverie of their battles and bygone glory. Next up is Elegon. Driven by their ambition to elevate the Empire, the Mogu delved into the secrets of Titan technology, salvaging and repurposing its ancient marvels to harness unimaginable power within the confines of this ancient complex. Yet the enigma remains. Why have these potent energies been channeled into the icy, unrelenting will of a celestial dragon? This mystery lies at the very core of the vaults, waiting to be unraveled by those daring enough to seek its truth. And finally, we have the will of the Emperor. At the heart of the vaults lies the core chamber, guarded by an army of stone soldiers frozen in time for centuries. Row upon row, these silent sentinels stand ready for battle that never commenced. What secrets do they protect within their stony grasp? And what connection do they hold to the titanic power concealed amidst the shadows of this ancient domain? The answers lie shrouded in mystery, waiting to be unveiled by those bold enough to venture into the depths. And that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you did enjoy. I'm sure I messed up the pronunciations on a few names. I try to go through and get the right pronunciation, but yeah, sorry. I appreciate your patience on me working on this one with what's been going on. I've been a little distracted, but with all that said and done, take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one. You're doing great.